What it do, my streaming crew? Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday afternoon for another episode of Random Doodles and How Tos. I believe we're on episode 18. Sweet, that's 1-8. So, bienvenidos, por favor, permanecer sentados. Please remain seated as we tackle this new adventure. As you guys see, I have people standing on the left side, and then I have my welcome screen. So, I figured I'd break down the human shape. Figured the best way to do that is with people standing, and we can use them as reference and show you how we build the human figure using shapes. If you've been with me in the past, then you know that I like to build everything and construct everything out of shapes. And those shapes help develop my pose, my character, my individual, all that fun stuff. If you're wondering, I am using Procreate on an iPad Pro to do this marvelous lesson, and I'm streaming with Mob Crush. Love it because it lets me stream straight to Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live, and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So we'll get started with today's random doodles and how-tos. Hopefully it helps you out and it gives you a good insight on how to kind of put all this stuff together. Okay, then it does that. Whatever. So we got random people on here, right? I'm going to drop them on that. I'm going to say, that's cool. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity on them. So I can draw over them and we can see the construction, right? So if you get over from the interwebs and onto here. And then we'll start building up our figure out of shapes, like I said before. Get my trusty blue color, get my pencil, and we're set to go. So let's zoom in on the screen, right? So we got multiple figures, some in the same pose, some slightly different. Usually when you're drawing for reference or you're looking for a certain pose, you always want to find the line of action, right? So if we start with this dude in the middle, right? We got his head, and then we got to find the line of action, which is like this. So you guys notice he's kind of going this way and then busting down this way. So I'm gonna double tap on the screen a couple times to undo that, right? So now we got to build our figure, right? How do we build our figure? Like I said, if you watched me in the past, then you know that this guy right here likes to build everything up into shapes, right? So I'm actually make my pencil a little bit thinner. So we got the ear here, so that means jawline. The neck goes this way, cylinder tube. And for those of you guys freshly learning or tackling this art career, this drawing thing, one of the best ways to figure out your anatomy and improve on your drawing is literally practicing over photos like this or another comic book artist's pieces, because that builds muscle memory, and the muscle memory helps you and helps you become a better artist. So usually the rib area, I say it's egg-shaped. In this case, because he is at an angle, it's not as egg-shaped, but it's still there. So that means here's my sternum area, a little part of our ribs, and it goes inside, but it'd be like this, because now we're looking at the inside, right? We have the top of the arm, which again, everything breaks down to these general shapes right here. Like literally, it breaks down to these general shapes. My tapered down cylinder. Here's my next movement, which is another tapered down cylinder that goes this way. So if I do this little shape, then you can see I can actually draw through it, and I get a pretty good rounded circle. And the same thing goes for the forearm. If I do the shape, it goes through. And then, ta-da, you are good to go. So, as you join me today, the chats are open, both on the YouTube, both on the Twitch. If you got a comment, concern, suggestion, drop it in there. Chop it up with me. Helps keep things entertaining. It really does. Because I get to use my voice a lot because I am a teacher, so I get to talk a lot. So we talk about the pelvic area. So everybody draws this area differently. Some people go with the sphere. And then obviously depending on the angle, it goes kind of like the rib cage but in reverse. And then you got these circles here. Some people draw it as a square. And obviously depending on the angle that you're at, then the 3D part of it kicks in differently. So it's literally different for all of us. And it varies. I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I do the square, sometimes I do that spherical shape that I just did. Kind of what I did now too, because yeah, I got my line of action, but it's motion's going this way. If I were to do that roundness and rotate my paper, because there's nothing wrong with rotating my paper, you know, all this stuff kind of plugs in. Like egg shape plugs into the abdomen shape, plugs into the hip shape. We got our hips in place. This one's, since it's this way, it's more like this. We can't see that side. But this side we can because we're going into it. Crotch area. We have our legs. Flares out this way. And then this one, because it's my line of action, goes straight this way. We got our feet. And honestly, a lot of this stuff, you know, even as I build up to it, finding the right pose sometimes does start off with that stick figure, and then I build up on the stick figure because I want to catch that line of action. And if the line of action works, then everything else should work on top of it, and then ta-da, you have what I would like to think a pretty awesome drawing. So we got this here, and this one goes this way. Again, it's that shape. And we got this one this way, tapers out. You can say there's a sphere in between for the elbow. Those joints right there. Bam. But again, you know, I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again through all my lessons. It is these general shapes or forms that help build up your drawing. It really is. Like so. Just like that. But like I said, you know, I'll repeat this over every lesson that I do. I'll talk about it because it is, there's no other way of looking at it. It is these shapes that put it all, it's construction. It's construction. It really is. I can't be like, no, dude, really? It's not construction. You know, some of us were born with an innate ability to just look at something and render the heck out of it out, and it's going to look amazing. Those people exist. Some of us, like me, we have to keep working and working and working on our craft, and then bam, we get better. And practice makes better. I've always had students that were mad when I would say practice makes better. Like, no, practice makes perfect. No, practice makes better. Better. Jawline, blah, blah, blah. He's looking up, so he's looking this way. What'd you say? And we gotta talk about the hands, right? Because I just noticed that there's hands there. But before I get to the hands, let's knock out this leg, right? So again, it's these shapes right here that I'm putting together to build the character. And it's understanding what's underneath all this stuff. It really is. And understanding it all makes it that much easier to draw this stuff. It really does. Then they connect to the kneecap area. But all this stuff comes in to help us create our figure. So if I turn off the photo, you can kind of see it. I give him a big old rib cage, but you know what, whatever. We're teaching, we're learning, we learn from our mistakes. Mistakes happen, and there's no harm, no foul. We gotta talk about the feet now. Again, general shapes, which we can square them out, square it out, like so. But yeah, ball, shape, shape. The ball's our heel, if you're wondering. And bam. So we got all these shapes to help build our character. And the same thing goes for all these guys, right? If I go over here, like this guy's line of action is literally straight down. You guys are wondering how I just made that straight line. Procreate, pull my line down, click and hold, and then I can do this, right? So, boom, chin, cheekbones, jawline. It's a little unbalanced, but it's okay because I'm kind of drawing small on this guy. Neckline. A triangular shape for the shoulders. And then we got our egg shape. The middle line right here. Our sternum. And ta-da! We have the figure. The side muscles. Here's our abdomen section. Draw our spheres for the top of the arms. Our cylinders. And usually is I try to match them up with the elbows. And that was a horrible line. I know, I get it. It happens. I should have rotated my paper because it's all crooked. So let's say here's elbow, bam. So I try to match up. I'll do it in a different color for you guys. I try to match up the elbow joint right about here, kind of to the bottom of the rib cage or the front of it. Let's get my color back. And then again, tapered cylinder. But here's all these connection lines. Hips. If I wanted to do the sphere here, if I do the square, it's like this. Then of course, here's our taped down cylinders that help build up the figure. Kneecap. Now I'm not going to line up these knees and these because there's a height difference, so we got to take that into consideration. This again is just, it's a practice demonstration. Boom. This one always goes out this way and it comes in